All right, it was a bit of a challenge to come here today, not the preparation actually, but because we're running out of time, as I understood. I had to cut a little bit, like all my colleagues here in civil society and political parties, in what I had prepared. Few points, a few observations. First of all, we talked a bit about gender. I think it's already much better. And as we all know, at least I hope so, that gender is not a binary thing, so it's not between women and men. I'm very happy that Civika mobilitas stands for queer, just to make the point. Right, today I was actually going to talk about, a concept that I'm sure that most of you are familiar with, which was and is the megali idea, right? I had prepared something on Greece as I graduated on Greece. I had prepared something that would start actually with the irredentist idea of uniting all the Greeks within one state, and how actually that phenomenon led to a society that was cracked to the core, right? We talk about a concept where eventually society polarized, not about the megali idea, but polarized in Greece because the elites had different ideas on how the megali idea should be attained. Radical ideas, moderate ideas. We can do things radically, we can do things moderately. I think all of us recognize what I'm talking about. I was going to talk about the megali idea as a concept that led to utter dependence of our neighbors in Greece on the great powers. Any idea of independence disappeared in the quest to achieve the megali idea, as no megali idea can be achieved with big brothers and sisters. I was going to talk about the concept how basically the megali idea and its achievement brought modernization, as the great powers were so involved not just in the megali idea and its achievement, but in the entire Balkans and the rest of the world. Automatically, by dealing with big powers, we modernize most of the time. Fascism was a modern movement. Communism was modern. Nowadays, nationalism is modern again. Hence, Greece found itself in a situation where basically people were not so much against change. They were more ambivalent about it. They would accept part of the change, but they wouldn't accept another one. And I recognize a lot of these things in Macedonia. I happen to be here like 4 years. I live in the Balkans for almost 20 years. And I recognize this. People would accept part of it, but not another part. We want better jobs, or more jobs, and better jobs, better wages. But we do not want to see our kids leaving the country in big masses. Both phenomena are actually the result of the dynamics around us, globalization, Europeanization, and so on. We would accept, for instance, some of us at least, women's rights, youth rights, right? But do we accept the rainbow flag flying on the government buildings? Good question. Constantine Karamanlis, the elder, faced with a situation where Greece found itself locked into a military junta as a consequence of its irresponsible policies, right? 1967, 1974, a military dictatorship next door. And Karamanlis, at that time at least, and his people that were close to him, saw an opportunity, saw an exit, saw a way out. And I quote him here. In 1973, he sent an open letter to several Greek newspapers. And it was all against the junta and so on. It became famous because of that. It's called the Open Letter, 23rd of April 1973. But basically, the junta reacted fiercely, took away all the newspapers so people wouldn't get access to it, and that made that article very popular. Repression does not work. We all know that. Not in the long term, at least. Quote, as to Karamanlis, Europeanization of Greece, the Europeanization of Greece should become the new megali idea of the nation. He reframed the problem from the irridentis megali idea, he moved to a new megali idea, which was based on Europeanization of the country. The wish was to overcome domestic polarization, not to have more of it. Now the door opened. The wish was to overcome dependence on the United States in that time, not to replace it with independence entirely, which is impossible for a small country like Greece. It's impossible for my country, the Netherlands. We're 17 million, doesn't mean anything. One of the richest countries in the world, doesn't mean anything. One of the most interdependent and open economies in the world, that means something, right? So, just to make the point, his idea was to move from dependence to interdependence. And that's what we saw today. Slovenia, Croatia, Hungary, Netherlands, Germany. All of them are partners. All of them are partners to us here in Macedonia in development. And if we don't agree with some of them, we will deal with the others. But one way or another, we will find our exit. So my question today to you in closing this event is, what is our megali idea? What is Macedonia's golema idea? And what is our nova golema idea? Is it this? I'm not sure, but if it is, I don't hear it loud enough. Representing Civika Mobilitas here, a program, I'm a freelancer for NIRAS, the contractor, but a program that would be nowhere if it were not for our implementing partner MCSC. And our grantees and collaborators, I see some of them here, CIVIL, Youth Educational Forum, SURPAMA, etc. We work with more than 200 non-governmental organizations in Macedonia, which is a major force. Imagine the space that Civika and other civil society, programs represent. And I have seen in our sphere so many new big ideas. I think civil society represents an incubator for the future of Macedonia, and this was actually what Civika Mobilitas at Ciki was all about. A new vision of the country and contribution of citizens into realizing that vision. And maybe, that's a bit of my observation, maybe not EU membership and NATO are the main messages here, right? I think this was the message of colorful revolution, right? From monocolor or bicolor to multicolor, I don't know. From unity or versus diversity to unity in diversity. Eventually, not EU membership or NATO membership will be the goal. The goal is to unite the people in this country, right? To unite them across their diversities and cherish those diversities and see the strength of it. So to conclude this, when I would come as a tourist from Netherlands and I buy a package deal and go to Ohrid and I make some tours, Ohrid City, the lake, a day trip to Bitola, I visit Skopje, what do I see? A beautiful, colorful, diverse country with so much to offer, but divided in unity, right? And here and there split around the core. And is Europeanization the answer? It might be. It might be. Is it? We will see. So how to reach that future? I just want to post one idea, which is maybe we in civil society, I'm looking at Jabi, Cikle, and my colleagues here, and together with our partners in government, business sector, and so on, those who see the way out of crisis and see that future, let's agree, let's continue the dialogue, but also let's agree on campaigns. I haven't seen a campaign. Oh la la, the referendum is coming, let's be silent. Let's be silent, somebody has to win it. So what I would like to propose today is, okay, we are living the times of Brexit, right? Brexit. Let's talk about something like McCountry or McIslas or something like that. A kind of campaign that unites us in at least agreeing on that is the future. Europeanization, NATO, I'm not talking about the name issue, but also dialogues about this, and to do it as soon as possible. There's no time to lose.